parler de Wings of Smoke. Donc, il est enseignant de littérature contemporaine, italienne à l'université de Messine et membre de l'association italienne des études tolkieniennes. Il s'intéresse à la littérature comparée, la théorie littéraire, les arts vivants, art du spectacle et la littérature contemporaine médiévale. Et donc, cette présentation est en anglais.
Thank you. Good morning. I am sorry for my language. I have to make my presentation in English because my French is terrible. So I beg your pardon, and I am to prove your patience. The argument of my presentation is about the pipes in the Lord of the Rings and the imagery which is tied to the pipes and to pipe reed. As we all know, Tolkien was a pipe smoker. Any pipe smoker here? One? Just one? Two? I hope for better, but okay. No Tolkien, as we know, was a pipe smoker. He was not an amateur. He was a fine intender of pipes, and so he put his experience of pipe smoking in his works. So the first thing we have to do is to debunk the myth of the one pipe. Tolkien one pipe. Tolkien didn't have one pipes at all, but he has an extensive collection because, you know, when you smoke a pipe, you cannot have just one pipe because when you use it, you have to wait it to get cold, you have to disassemble it, to clean it, you have to make it rest for 1 day or two when you use it, or it will break in a very few weeks of use. So it's interesting because in a letter written to Mark Ewing, who wrote a so-and-so book about Tolkien and pipes, Adam Tolkien says that Tolkien didn't have favorite brand of pipe, but he wanted them to be briar. Briar, I think that in French is bruyère. Bruyère. And to be sure, briar is one of the most modern materials for pipe making, because the first material used to make pipes in Europe was clay. Now we will see it. Clay. But as we know, pipes marks the most iconic moments of the movies of Peter Jackson, and they just have a problem. They are astonishing from an aesthetic point of view, but they are all unrealistic. They cannot exist like this. So in the movies we see these pipes which have quite small bowl. The bowl is this part, and a very long stem. The stem is this. And also, they appear to be made in one piece of wood, which is quite unrealistic because you can make a one-piece pipe with electric tools, precision tools, but I don't think that an artisan can do such a thing. But the problem is not that. The problem is that a one-piece pipe made of wood with a so long stem is very brittle. Would you bring with yourself a pipe so brittle you can break it in every moment, especially if you are making a voyage into the dangers of the wilderness? I don't think so. There is also an aesthetical problem. If we see, those are the pipes from the movies. The first from top are from Lord of the Rings, Bilbo's pipe, Gimli's, Aragorn, Gandalf, and the last four to the bottom are from the Hobbit movie. As you can see, the style is quite homogeneous. It's quite randomish. It looks like they all bought their pipes in the same shop. There was just one shop in Middle Earth, and they all go there. But it makes no sense. Compare these pipes to these schemes, which shows a little part of the real world variety of pipes. We have literally dozens and dozens of styles of pipe, and each one has a lore, a history, and we cannot forget them. And Tolkien too does not forget these lore, these styles, these tradition in pipe making, because he knows it. He knows all these things, and he uses it uses them in his books. In the movies, all is quite homogeneous, all is quite generic in style and fashion. Here is what I think is the primal source of Tolkien, his experience of smoking in the trenches of the Great War. We know that the soldiers used to smoke pipes in the trenches, and of course, if you are in a trench, you cannot smoke 18 inches pipe because it won't work. You need space, and you don't have space in the trenches. But soldiers used to smoke little pipes, very sturdy in fashion and in building, which guaranteed to be long-lasting. There we can see a real pipe from a soldier of the First World War, which brings some carvings of the places he went during his service. This was a pipe of an American soldier, but we see that he used to lit this pipe with a tinder, these two discs of metal and he used to bring fire with a wick. This trap. They didn't use matches or lighters because they were unreliable in the condition of the First World War. And this is a scheme of the first kind of pipes that we made in our primary world when tobacco was introduced in Europe. These were made of clay, which guaranteed a cheap and easy to make pipe, but also a brittle pipe, a pipe that was very, very difficult to transport because it was very, very, very brittle in the section of the stem. You know, a subtle stem of clay won't last forever, but it was very sweet for the use they made of it. They used them in the taverns, in the inns that were called tabagie, where people used to go and drink and smoke and be in company. And this is a scene from a 17th century picture, painting, which shows us how the tabagies were aware. People meeting, drinking and smoking all together. at the times was a sort of social ritual, a social activity, and they used to smoke with pipes made of clay very, very long. Why so long? For two reasons. First, because if the pipe is very long, the smoke won't hurt your eyes. If you smoke a short pipe, you can't read, or you have to keep it in your hand, not be to have no harm in your eyes. But the second fact is that these pipes were offered by the inn, the tavern, and you found them on the table. So someone before you have used them, and you just break the final part of the stem, and you use a pipe as it was new. This was possible just because all these pipes were very, very, very cheap. So when they broke, they could be disposed and changed for another. People used to buy dozens of these pipes for personal use because they were very cheap and very disposable, like disposable objects. Okay, the image on the right is very interesting because it shows us how they used to heat their pipes with charcoal taken from the fireplace, because of course they had no matches or lighter. Again, this is a still life painted by young Hans van der Delt with all the sites for smoking shown. And it's interesting to notice that there is no such a difference between this painting from the 17th century and this photograph from the beginning of the 20th century. The use of the pipe and of the instruments for smoking has little changed in the time. And is this the material culture Tolkien has in mind when he writes his books? And I want to go faster now and go to the texts. In The Hobbit, in the first pages of the book, we have a first description of a pipe, the enormous long wooden pipe that reached nearly down to Bilbo's woolly toes. And here is introduced a theme that will be dominant in The Hobbit, the art of making rings of smoke, which seems to be a sort of social ritual in Middle-earth, or a fun game to entertain the audience during a social event. And to be sure, in the movie of The Hobbit, we have the classic church warden pipe made in one piece of wood. But in the animated movie by Rankin and Bass, we have a representation which is very, very, very correct from a theological point of view. We see this wooden pipe, enormous, long down to the toes of Bilbo, and to make it possible, it is created as a composite pipe. You see the junctures in the stem that suggest that this pipe can be disassembled to be clean and kept clean after using. And from the author of the movie is a very interesting poem. is using a great precision in his representation. And also in the image here, we see the collection of pipes of Bilbo, and they are all one different from the other. And the most important thing to notice is that if we try to set the time of the Shire according to our primary world, it is more or less a Warwickshire village all about the period of the Diamond Jubilee. These are words from a letter of Tolkien. And it suggests that the material culture of the Shire is more or less the same of the end of the 19th century. As I said, in The Hobbit, there is some try to modify the style of the pipes to make them more dwarvish, but I think that is not so good. So we can ask, whose fault is it? We have the criminal is this guy. This guy is the Oscar-awarded concept art director of The Lord of the Rings, Alan Lee, one of the greatest artists in Tolkien art, but in art in general. And in all of his art, there is always this representation of this subtle and long pipes, which are very, very beautiful to see. They are very, very elegant, very majestic. They are fake, but not a problem of the artist. And if we take a close look to the stuff of Gandalf in the movie, when he's still grey, his pipe is inserted in the head of the staff. And this is a very odd idea brought by Alan Lee to the concept of the movie. So if in the movies we have these imaginary oriented towards the pipes with a long stem, is due to Alan Lee and his drawings, his art. But if we go to the Hobbit, we read that Gandalf has a short clay pipe, and with this pipe makes smoke rings in many colors. Why a short clay pipe? Well, because Gandalf is a voyager, is one who doesn't settle in a place for a long time. So we need to have a little pipe that can be transported easily. Yes, the solution of the pipe and the staff is very, very, very good to see, but it's unrealistic. But the use of making smoke rings suggests also something about the temper, the character of Gandalf and other characters. For example, when the company of Thorin is stuck in the cave in the Misty Mountains, they don't know what to do for the moment. Gandalf says no for building a fire, but start making smoke rings and coloring them with his magic to amuse his companions. And then in the height of Beorn, when Gandalf comes back from his night away, and the dwarves and Bilbo wants to know what he has done and who Beorn is in reality, he takes his time to eat, to drink, to smoke, to make smoke rings. In this way, the character is made more human. He has his vices, he needs to relax sometimes. Yes, he is a Maya, he's an incarnated spirit, but he is also human. And through the pipe imagery, his humanity is brought to the reader. Okay. Another important scene in The Hobbit is settled in Gollum's cave, when Bilbo wakes up after he has felt in the cave. He touches himself and searches for his pouch with his pipe and tobacco, and he would like to have a smoke, but he finds no matches, and then understands, okay, maybe it's better not to lit a pipe in this moment, because you know the light and the smell could attire something dangerous. But we read here an interesting particular. Bilbo has brought with himself matches. This may look anachronistic, but actually the production of rudimentary matches could fit the fact that the technological level of the Shire is about the level of a village of the end of the 19th century. But I think that this is more a little pun made by Tolkien, because making Bilbo bring mages from home is showing how is a naive adventurer and experiencer, because he is bringing with himself something that is so reliable to lit fire, while the dwarves, which are skilled adventurers, bring with them tinder boxes. So a box which contains fire steel, flint and tinder to make fire. And they use only tinder boxes, and Tolkien says dwarves have never taken 2 matches even yet. So in the end of the Third Age, the Shire has the technology to make matches, but they are more suitable for domestic use and not for an adventure. And Sam is aware of this, and he brings in his adventure not matches but flint and tinder. And so there is a little contraposition between Bilbo and Sam. Bilbo is the bourgeois who goes to an adventure, and he becomes more skilled, but never fully skilled. Sam is the simple soldier of the First World War who knows how to outlive in danger and knows what is better to outlive. And even in the Lord of the Rings, we know that Gimli used to lit his pipe again with flint and tinder. I think I have not so much time, so I want to conclude with this paragraph of the prologue concerning pipe reading. Every one of us knows this part of the book, which is steering. This is the part with the most important information about pipe weed and smoking art in Middle Earth. And what do we know from this section? One, the art of pipe smoking was widespread among the hobbits even before the discovery of pipeweed itself. They used to smoke, as Tolkien says, various herbs, some fouler, some sweeter, and since it is an art that belongs specifically to them, we can assume that hobbits were specialized in pipe craftsmanship. So in the prologue, we read that they were skillful with tools. So why not? Hobbits were the first to discover that pipeweed can be used for smoking. Pipeweed was known in Númenor and then in Gondor, where it was called galenas, but it was not smoked there. The first to smoke pipeweed were hobbits, and pipeweed could not grow spontaneously in the Shire. It must be cultivated in particular condition due to the different climate. Again, the art of smoking spread from the hobbits to the other peoples of Middle-earth, and interesting to notice that peoples who have no direct contact with the hobbits do not know the art of smoking at all, like Gondor or Rohan. Sadly, it is not possible to deduce from the text how pipeweed was cultivated and, most important, cured, because you know the tobacco needs to be cured to be smoked and to acquire the right taste. So we cannot say how it was cultivated or cured, with which technique, but we know for sure that in the Shire there were leaf plantation in the fell part of the rings we did, and there were exploitations of weed, the most famous of which was the one to Isengard. Even it was something like a smuggling, but no problem. And we cannot deduce from the text whether pipeweed belongs to the types of tobacco present in our primary world. If we speak of pipe tobacco, we have 7 types of tobacco: Burley, Leek, Kentucky, and so on. But we cannot say what kind of tobacco is like pipeweed. And we know also that Longbottom leaf, Toby, and Southern Star are just some of the varieties produced in the Shire, but we don't know anything else about them. Something about the word itself, pipeweed. In The Hobbit, Tolkien does not use pipeweed. He used the word tobacco because he makes no problem with that. But in The Lord of the Rings, he is looking for a more hobbitish word, something that doesn't sound, we can say, linguistically out of place in the context of the Middle-earth. Tobacco is very precise word. It means it has an American origin, so it could not fit in the culture of Middle-earth. But Tolkien used the word weed in reference to the Old English weald, which has been used in our history to refer to tobacco around since 17th century. So there is no reference to marijuana, to drugs, and some moments in the movies when people smoke and looks like high or stunned is out of place. It has nothing to do with Tolkien. One last thing. All the information we have about pipe weed come from the Heblaw of the Shire, which is a pseudo-biblion written by Merrill of Brandybuck after the facts of the Lord of the Rings when he is yet old. The title itself of this pseudo-biblion is interesting because have law. When first Theoden meet the Hobbit and Merry begin talking about smoking pipes, pipeweed and so on, Theoden has a sort of interest in this strange little man and his strange habits. And when he had to go, he says, and we will speak also of Tobal the Old, and it is her law. Farewell. And in his moment of dying, when Mary is with him, the old king expresses his grief. When you sit in peace with your pipe, think of me. For never now shall I sit with you in Metusel, and as I promised, or listen to your head law. So, 2 times Theoden mentions this head law, and these very words becomes the title of the book written by Merrill of Brandybuck. So it's like he is keeping on in absentia this conversation with his friend when he is dead. It's I think very moving, and this suggests once again that the very characteristics of Tolkien techniques is the unsaid. Tolkien is a master of saying things, but the more things he says are under the written page. So, in this story of the composition of the Heblaw of the Shire by Merrill of Brandybuck, there is the story under the trace of the written page of a relationship that could not continue in life and has to be substituted by medium of the writing. I want to skip to the conclusion and to say that in Peter Jackson movies, the pipes, while aesthetically astonishing, are flattened into a generic and rather uniform style. They are objects of cinema, while in Tolkien's book are narrative dispositive, which consent to know some important aspect of the character who uses it. And as in our primary world, even in Tolkien's secondary world, we can know something about this world from the material culture we can collect about it. And it's going late, so I stop here. Thank you for your attention.
Si vous avez des questions en anglais, c'est mieux.
Ce sont surtout des commentaires de la Bible. Donc j'avais fait référence tout à l'heure à la burning briar. In English, okay, you prefer to? Yeah. In my presentation earlier on, I made a reference to the burning briar, which I thought was quite a good item, right? Given to this. It is known that among the many photos that Tolkien smoked with his pipe, and people were commented that a lot of the time he was holding on to an unlit pipe. So he held the pipe as out of habit, really, but he didn't actually smoke that very much per se. And a different thing, which is the pipe weed, which is Solanaceae from the New World, and there are references, of course, to other types of solanaceous, particularly tatties. The tatties that Sam, of course, is so fond of, which is also which is a sort of a New World plant. And I can't remember if there or not, but I think in The Hobbit there's a reference to tomatoes. So they would have been sort of, and people thought, oh, how can it be because that's the New World plants? Then Tolkien had an answer, say, well, they came from Numenor. And in my work on looking at Tolkien's artwork, in particular his doodles, griffonnage, quite a few of the plants that he draws are of the Solanacean family. So there will be plants that we won't find in a New World.
Well, just very quickly, you said that probably Tolkien took the habit of smoking pipe during the war.
No, I didn't say that.
Ah, okay, that's what I understood.
Tolkien began smoking in his student era.
Yeah, because in fact, Father Francis Morgan was a heavy pipe smoker,
yes,
and he took the habit from Father
yes,
Francis.
of course.
Okay,
No,
so I misunderstood. Sorry.
What I said is that the reference for his representation of these pipes during war comes from the experience of the trenches. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering what do you think about the actually close link between Solomon and tobacco?
Well, in the movies, Sauron is represented as a hypocrite because he criticizes Gandalf for being too much into hobbit things and into tobacco, but he is a smoker in secret. He's a secret heavy smoker. But I think that there is no how can I say there is no moral or allegorical sense in Solomon smoking because it is just an habit that helps mind to be relaxed and so on. So a man of thought like Solomon may need to rest some time and use this pipe with. But I don't think that this means something particular from a moral or allegorical point of view. But it's very interesting as a question. Thank you.
In my bad English, thank you for your very interesting lecture. I am especially interested in pipe smoking, and I think, and you show it a bit, that there is an essential connection between pipe smoking from Tolkien and the Middle Earth. And that's a question that was not very present in your lecture. Why are they smoking? Why is Tolkien smoking? Why is Strider smoking? Why is Gandalf smoking? And so on. For my part, I began smoking pipe. I had never smoked before, 30 years old, and it was at that time that I took the decision to smoke pipe when I was writing my first paper on Tolkien. And I was frustrated because I wasn't able to write anymore, and I needed to go in the garden, and I wanted to be outside and still inside my thoughts and inside my writing. And so the solution for me was pipe smoking. Why? Because I had 3 pictures in my head, 4 pictures. 2 from Peter Jackson, Strider, which is smoking in Bree, then Gandalf, which is smoking, and we're saying in the movie Riddles in the Dark, with the allusion. And then I had the picture of the pictures of Tolkien naturally, and also the fictive day and night that Humphrey Carpenter is making when he is trying to see Tolkien writing The Hobbit in the night with his pipe and all. And for me, when you smoke a pipe, you have a home, but not only something from home, as you said about the matches and all, and you were perfectly right, but you are creating a home. In the French philosophy of Gilles Deleuze, we have heard this word, you have territorialization and deterritorialization. An adventure is absolute territorialization, and you need some territory when you are on an adventure. And I think when you are smoking pipe, you have a little home out around you. That's what French we call milieu, and that's very interesting because in English you don't have this word. That's ambient, environment, but la terre du milieu is also la terre des milieux. Tolkien is perfectly powerful with that kind of creating, some worlds around someone. That's the world of someone when you are smoking pipe.
Thank you. It is very interesting what you say because, yes, in some sense, what you say is real. But because if we take a close look to the pipes described in Lord of the Rings, for example, the pipe of Aragorn, the pipe of Aragorn. Okay. Compare the pipe of the movie, which is quite anonymous, and the pipe described in the book. A long stamped pipe, curiously cut. In this piece, whose is the point of view? It's Frodo's. So, what may look to Frodo as a curious carving could be an Elvish calligraphy. So, why not? Maybe this pipe was made by the elders of Rivendell and gifted to Aragorn by Elrond when he had to go and fight against Sauron. So it's like to bring with himself a part of the place in which he grew old and which was his second home. Why not? It's very interesting what you say. I find that is confirmed by the text, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. I have just a simple hypothesis. I don't have any element to prove it or to check it. I don't know if you have elements, but maybe the pipe designed by Alan Lee for the movies is also a welcome design, because when there is a cinematic reason, when you have a short pipe, you have your hand in front of your face, and maybe it's a little bit complicated to film a face, especially when you have a narrow frame. It's complicated to see the face, see the lips, so maybe it's also a cinematic reason behind this.
But of course, Peter Jackson is not stupid, and of course he made he cured every particular to be cinematically effective, more effective, and a long pipe is majestic, is elegant, keeps the smoke and the object itself far from the face of the character is obvious, and I think that it is the very reason of his choice. But he had to be unfaithful to the books of Tolkien. It would be better if it was faithful? No, I don't think so. But there is a difference. We have to pay attention to.
Last question.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. You referencing, the importance of pipeweed culture and how it is kind of directly tied to Hobbit culture and being representational of that. It made me think of, towards the end of Return of the King, Saruman and his involvement increasingly in the Shire, and how the raping of the Shire and the removal of the resources from the Hobbit's, ancestral land involved pipeweed, and it made me think, the relationship that Saruman has to pipeweed, conversed with his narrative foil, Gandalf, and his relationship to pipeweed. Do you think that has anything to say about how that ties into both of their relationships to Hobbit culture? I don't know if you have an answer for that, but it just made me think about that.
Well, we have to take a look to the economy of the Shire, which is something in the way between a traditional medieval-ish economy and a modern economy. And in some sense, Gandalf is tied to the culture of the Hobbit for his conservative aspects. While Saruman represents in some way, he is not an allegory, but he also represents in some way some aspects of the capitalism. And of course, his servant, Lord of Baggins, what does he do? He tries to put his hands on all the plantations of leaf. So he is creating a monopoly. He tries to transform a traditional rural economic system of plantations, and is not a matter of, I think that it is a matter of fact that Saruman represents all these aspects of the modernity. And this is the economic aspect, but he represents the technique of modernity, which tries to capture everything in his hands. And even in his relationship with Hobbit culture, he is aggressive, while Gandalf tries to keep everything as it was, as it ever been. Thank you.
Thank you.